Welcome everybody to Uplifting Conversations. My name is Neil Thrussell, and who's to my this side? We have the incredible talented.
It's me. It's Jamie Adamchuk. It's so great to be here with everyone today. I'm excited, but not because I'm here with you, Neil. It's because who's right over there? Why I'm freaking excited. Oh my God, Adele, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me again. So grateful to be here.
So there's a little backstory, and I owe anyone that's finding us today because they thought they were going to get Eric Mortimer, and we're going to get Eric Mortimer back on the show, but I'm unable apparently to calculate time zone shifts between Pacific and Mountain Time and Australian. So I messed up by posting the wrong times, and Eric couldn't make an earlier time. So we're going to have Eric on at another time, but that gave us the opportunity to sneak Adele back in.
Yes.
Excellent. So as I said, Neil Thrussell with Best You Can Be, and my purpose and my business purpose is to help empty nesters get their mojo back, get more joy and fulfillment in their life, to live with purpose.
Other way, that one. Hey, it's Jamie with UE Coaching. Of course, I help business operators grow and scale their business easily, effortlessly, get rid of that unnecessary stress, and most importantly, become true business owners. And let me tell you, there is a massive difference between the both of those. Adele, tell us. What is it you do? What is your purpose? And who do you help?
Hi, everyone. I'm Adele Campbell. I am a visual artist, and I bring to life nature on canvas to inspire people to connect with themselves through nature. Sweet. And that is my passion. That is my purpose. And I love sharing my art with the world.
And I especially love on Facebook seeing sometimes the work in progress, sometimes the completed. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I don't know. Have you shared lately the stories behind some of your artwork? You were doing that previously.
I do here and there. Majority of the time, I'm inspired by, moments I have with the creatures or animals in nature. Now that winter is setting in, you see less and less of them. So I'm going, I'm being inspired by my dreams or by visions I'm having when I'm meditating. Cool. But a lot of the stories come from those places. So I try to, every image has a story behind it. So
I love that. I love that. And each person has the ability to be able to interpret that story in their own way with their own tools. Yourself utilizing art and everything. That's just so beautiful. I really have to say that.
Thank you. It's come naturally, and it's truly a gift because, like you said, people have the opportunity to connect with it in their own way. And I've had some really touching moments with collectors when they tell me the reason why they're purchasing the piece of art is it's phenomenal. And in fact, one of the my recent collectors, it brought tears of joy to my eye because just the connection that she had and the story behind it was even more beautiful than I could have ever have written.
Wow. That's amazing. And yeah, those stories, it's the meaning, everything that they're associating to that particular piece. That's great. You can actually create such beautiful memories, even if the person hasn't even been there, because they're going to create that story within their minds. It's unleashing that absolute place of passion of whatever it is, because that's exactly what art does. At least it does for me anyways, to really appreciate that. It just sets up a whole moment. I go into my mind and I physically go to that place. I take in that representation of what that art is, whether it's a sculpture, whether it's a painting or whatever, and just really get with that and be with that energy. And it shifts, it changes things.
It does. Creativity in general and art, whether it's visual or whether it's musical or poetry, it all has the ability to really affect us emotionally, which is phenomenal. And it can change you. It really can.
Oh, I just seen my number one fan.
Thank you, Tina. She's one of my number one fans too, Neil.
That's so good.
Yeah. So we were initially supposed to all have, anybody know puns? Well, maybe we'll leave that for Eric to do, because Eric was the pun guy, the punny guy. And Adele is the artist, Jamie's the business guy. And I try to think that I'm just, the jack of all trades, the writer, the author, the inspiring. And what I've discovered in all of that, there's crap that I don't like to do. And in all of this, when I'm trying to live a passionate life, Jamie and I just had a quick conversation via text on this, that there's things in my life that are not, that take energy from me when I need to, and I want to be energetic and I want to provide. So why don't I hire these people to do these things? And Jamie hit the hammer right on the nail head. And he said, we have this social construct of obligations and of what things and people do and what's expected of us. And yeah. Jamie used a beautiful example of a housekeeper.
Yeah.
How many people, and if you can comment, how many people actually have a house, somebody that comes in regularly and not just on Christmas, birthdays, or before the mother-in-law comes in, for a housekeeper, house cleaner?
Yeah. That's something that I used to have for myself. I don't presently right now, but it is something, and it always gave me that feeling, and it wasn't actually a good feeling. It's like, oh my gosh, how hoity-toity am I that I have someone come in and help me to clean my house? What I had to recognize, though, is I had to change the meaning behind that. Because the initial meaning is like, oh, I'm hoity-toity, I'm this, I'm that. It wasn't that at all. What that housekeeper did is gave me more time with my son. That was the whole meaning behind it for me. It wasn't about being Mr. Fancy Pants or anything like that. What it was, though, was giving me more time. I mean, I was going through a pretty terrible divorce at the time and all that. And the last thing that I wanted to be doing, especially with the limited time that I had home, was being worried about cleaning a house and doing this, doing that. I said, what's the best way that I can maximize my time doing exactly what it is that I want to be doing, not what I don't? And for me, that particular time, that particular place, it was having a house cleaner, someone that would come in, clean and all that. Now, I wasn't a pig or anything like that by any means, but it just made so much difference for me. It was just a humongous help.
Adele, I saw your head shaking.
Yeah, I'm relating because I don't have a housekeeper, but just on the business side of things, like something as simple as setting up a website for someone that's a new business owner. For me, it's not that I struggled with technology, because I am really adaptive. I learn things quickly, but I just didn't have the time to put into creating a website. And it came down to whether or not I wanted to invest the time, which probably would have taken, 3 more months that I had since launching originally the website. And I just said, you know what, I need to reach out to someone who knows what they're doing, because it's going to cut, it's going to, again, allow me the time to do what I love to do, instead of trying to fret over trying to put something together that, although I love doing it because I was trying to create it for myself, I just did not have the time. I wanted to focus on the creating, and it really does give you that freedom.
Yeah. That's really, really, really big. And leveraging when I'm talking business, when I'm talking productivity and moving things forward, one of the first things I say is, does it have to be you, or must it be someone else? It's one of the big questions that I ask, and I'm constantly asking it. If it's something that doesn't place you in your zone of genius, where you're absolutely in that flow state where you can just go, you can lose time left, right, and center, and you're just crushing it. If you're not in that place, if you're hesitating, if you're not getting as forward as fast as you'd like to, start to think about who must be doing this. Neil and I got talking too. The two things that came up for us, one was personal, one was business. Business side was a VA. Getting some meetings scheduled and stuff, getting things in place, getting some of those other tasks done so that he can be more in that zone of genius. Same thing with gardening, right? I'm not an exceptional gardener by any means, but I love the look of like a well-maintained, beautifully, super green grass with flowers up front. I could probably never do it myself, but I'll tell you what, if I was to get someone to come in and help me do that, I'm going to appreciate it just so much.
Absolutely. Yeah. VA. Theoretically, this wouldn't have occurred, but we wouldn't have got Adele. This situation I placed myself in the uncomfortableness I placed poor Eric in, and asking if he could reschedule, wouldn't have occurred had I procured the service, in this case, of a VA. And yes, they can make mistakes, but hopefully that wouldn't be one of them. But it's the quality, I'm looking for the appropriate person that looks after those fine details, and not like what I just did. But
Definitely.
Mindset is so important, because there's probably tons of things that mindset controls us and stops us from doing. And COVID is a beautiful example. I can't do anything, people are saying, but you go on Facebook and you watch the number of Netflix series that they have streamed is astronomical, but yet none of them, or many of them, haven't taken up a craft, haven't taken up music lessons, things that you can do in the privacy of your own home. They haven't increased their skill set, other than possibly baking. And then that leads to the other problem that COVID is bringing us, which is a little bit of obesity, as most people, not all, but most people are coming out the chunk.
Yeah.
I don't know who said it was, though there's the 4 ways that you're coming out of, it was Jamie that told me this one. 4 ways that you're coming out of COVID: as a monk, a drunk, a hunk, and
a chunk.
Yeah.
Those are 4 great ways to come. Yeah, 4 very unique ways to come out of COVID, but I could see it across the board for sure.
Yeah. And it does come back to that story that you're telling yourself, right? There's never been more money. And here's something that's really cool. There's never been more money than there has ever been in the entire economy. Now, I'm not taking away from COVID. I'm not saying COVID's some great big dream or anything. It's horrible. It's terrible, all the things that have happened to the people. People have passed away and all that. And that's really terrible. I'm really quite sad about that. And in the same time, right, there's more money, there's more opportunities. I'm seeing people, get really creative. I'd love to know StreamYard, the platform that we're using. I'd love to know how much their profits have gone up. Zoom went through the roof. These people, they found a way. They didn't choose to just sit in front of Netflix or Crave or whatever and chill and eat potato chips and drink pop. No, they decided to do something different. They doubled down on themselves. They found the people. Here's the real key point. They found the people that could help them. They found the people that could help them move further, faster forward, and then they employed that. That does ultimately come from that mindset. And even I go back to, say, a VA, say a gardener, say a housekeeper, something like that. Instead of me thinking, oh my God, how rich and fancy am I just because I have this gardener, housekeeper, whatnot. What if instead the story I told myself was, hey, geez, what if I was actually helping this person when they needed some money in a time where they're going to help me too? All of a sudden, everything changes there. Everything changes. Complete game changer, complete reframe for me around what I'm thinking about getting people to come help me.
Absolutely. And I was trying to add Sarah, but Sarah's lost her video camera. I had also reached out to Sarah, and Sarah is one of our go-to girls, and her screen is black. So I'm gonna jump you out here, Sarah, and then we'll see if you can get your camera, because I can see in the green room. So yeah, I was reaching out to a bunch of people, and I said, shh, don't tell Jamie.
Bring them on. We're a great big family. It's good.
Absolutely. Oh no, she was there, and then she's gone. So the UK is maybe part of their COVID restrictions is they're not allowing joint signals. Maybe we're too many together here.
Exactly. We're not allowed to see them. They're locked down over there. And when they say locked down, I'm talking locked down. Like we can't see them or anything. So.
Yep. Oh, I'm feeling nostalgic. I have one brother, and it's unusual for him to jump on, but hey, there's my baby brother and his beautiful wife. They said, this is what he wanted to share.
Excellent.
Hi, Doug.
Well, yeah. So yeah. So
Yeah.
we're back to it's in mindset.
Yep.
And COVID is a beautiful example. Once again, not taking anything away from the horrors of COVID, but it's a beautiful opportunity to increase our mindset and how we deal with things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like,
This is true. Go ahead, Neil.
If you're finding yourself on the downside of your emotions and you're feeling depressed and you're not going through great feelings, there are so many ways and tools to actually uplift yourself. YouTube's got so many great little videos. How many kittens do you need, or how many puppies do you need? Here we go, and there we go.
She's there. Look at there. There's Sarah.
And I bring her on just as she finishes taking a
Yeah.
drink of
Like, don't look at my coffee.
Don't look at my coffee cup.
I see.
But you can look at my coffee cup.
Oh yeah, let's look at that coffee cup. The joys of technology when the webcam is over the actual camera on the laptop, and for some reason you've used the webcam for months and the computer goes, today we will use the laptop.
I get that. I get that. Welcome. Thanks for joining us, Sarah. This is absolutely great. We were just talking about the power of mindset, number one, and then also the power to leverage. And when we change our mindset surrounding that, not that, oh, I'm Mr. Fancy Pants and I've got a bunch of people doing things for me, but when we recognize maybe number one, how it could very well be helping that person, right? We're actually providing an opportunity. And number two, we're allowing them to work in their zone of genius so that we can do the exact same thing. We're just having a little conversation about that.
Yeah, and so I was literally, Neil had said to me 9:15. I was like, okay, it's 9:12. I'll just check the message again, and opened up the message requests in my Facebook Messenger. You know, that list of people that are talking to you, but you don't know where they are. And there is 3 requests in there from the last 2 weeks. Will you come on my show? Do you want to hear about this project? And I can't remember what the third one was, but all of them in that same thing. I was like, well, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
Go. And sometimes, and I think this is, you know, for people, when people are reaching out to you, it's actually just to acknowledge that they've seen something in you that is good for them. Mm-hmm. You know, all 3 of these said, I think you would be a good fit. And, you know, I'm recruiting for this person and their audience. And my old reply would have been, no, can't mean me. You know, everyone else can say you're amazing, but until you actually think it yourself or allow yourself to step into that, then it doesn't matter what somebody writes in a request or an email. It's always going to hit that wall that says, no, not good enough. They can't mean me. Must have sent it to the wrong Sarah. But actually, sometimes it's just they came to you. They asked you.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason that they did, let them tell you why. Because you can still say no later on, but if you won't even have the initial conversation, you don't know where that conversation could lead.
Yeah. That's big. And some people really value connection right now.
Yeah.
Especially through all this time, everything that's happened, some people are really going to value that connection right now. So maybe it's worthwhile and it's worth it for not just us, but for them, for humankind, if you want to take it that big, to allow ourselves to be able to reach out and open up those conversations, maybe even have an uplifting conversation.
Absolutely. And it's amazing how that the destruction that inner voice has, and so overriding that when other people come and say, oh, and I'm just going to use Sarah here. Sarah, you were so good. And then at some point in time, Sarah may have had this thought in her mind and go, bull crap, that's not true, I'm not, and whatever. And it takes so long for us to finally settle in to go, hey, I'm a good person.
Mm. Mm.
And which is a great thing, because that's the business I'm in, is trying to get people to, but it comes in so many different ways. Jamie from the business side and Sarah from the business side, most of the problems are with people not in the right mindset for their business or for whatever. And it's actually, they're really just adjusting mindset. Adele for her work, if she doesn't want to paint, I suspect, unless she's
Oh.
angry painting, it's not
Hey,
going to
angry
be.
painting can be beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if I don't have the right mindset, you're absolutely right, Neil. And I think you can relate this to most things. If you're not in the right mindset, it just won't turn out. You can effort as much as you want, but when there is that efforting, that's when it's really difficult to get the result you're looking for. And when you're efforting in your mind and you're fighting against yourself, it's hard to take that next step forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing. I mean, mindset is applicable for everything. It's business, it's personal, it's life, it's love, it's passion, it's everything. I've seen through my own personal journey of working with as many clients as I have, I've seen many people, and I've even had some people tell me, I don't need that mindset stuff. I don't need that woo-woo stuff, right? It's literally blown my mind to have them say that, to hear them say that. And the truth is, mindset matters most. Mindset is everything. If you don't have that, whether it's business, whether it's in your intimate, passionate relationship, whether it's you getting the stuff done that you need to do, whether it be your job, wherever, if you don't have that right mindset, and here's a pro tip, there's unlimited amounts of mindsets that you can have. If you don't at least have the one that's working for you in that moment, in that space, and in that place, you will struggle to achieve what it is you've set out to do. Right mindset, you'll blast through it. You'll absolutely crush it, assuming that it's in your zone of genius.
And that's back to, and if it's not in your zone of genius, ask, get someone to help you.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have the money, trade, barter, provide your genius, whatever it is, get it done. Get someone else, because when you're working in a collaborative environment and everyone is succeeding and everyone is working in their genius, oh man, that's the place I want to be in all the time.
And two, just on that point, if you are struggling with your mindset, there are, like Jamie said, millions of people out there that are willing to help. Millions. And there's tons of videos, and there's a lot of coaches and not even coaches, just people reaching out, because we are in such a difficult time that's affecting so many people's mindset, that people are just saying, just reach out to me, just reach out to me. So, it comes to that too. If you can't, that may be an ask. It's a big ask sometimes, because you're, then recognizing that it might be hard for, you might be having trouble with it, but if you don't, you have to start somewhere.
Yeah. Completely.
I was in a workshop, and one of the exercise was in his business building was just to ask. So you're facing two lines, people just facing each other, and you just had to go up to front of people and say and ask. And as every time you moved, the answer was yes or the answer was no. So you were going to get 50-50 chance. And then it was just to know that it's just an answer. It's just an ask. And so, and there was a whole bunch of depth, because it's the energy and the attachment to the outcome to it. Because part of the exercise is then we had to ask, I needed $1 from Jamie because Tina needed medication. And then it was Jamie learning to say no and letting it be clean. So it was there's some beautiful work out there. And yes, you need to ask.
Yeah. What's great about that too is it builds that resiliency, because I'm always coming from a place of business for the most part anyways, and the ability to be able to ask, the ability to, number one, use your voice, get it out there, because if we don't ask, we're not going to know. Asking is one of the most powerful tools that we have. Ask for help, ask for knowledge, ask for experience, ask for whatever it is that you need. Now, that's a bit of a skill. What's the mindset I have to go into? That no matter what the answer, it's the exact right answer at the exact right place, even if it's a no. Now, that changes the whole game right there. That flips the script right there, because now I'm coming into this without an attachment to that specific outcome. Would I like to get it? Sure. Of course, I'd like to get it. And if it's a no, if Neil tells me, no, Jamie, I can't help you, I don't have the time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, hey, that's cool. But what I've done is I've taken that voice, that internal voice, that voice of thought, and I've put that out there and created it and made it real. That's the real power there. Business people, get comfortable with it. Get really comfortable in using that voice and getting it out there and asking, because believe me, I've seen this. I've seen it way too many times not to see the pattern. When people go ahead and they use that voice, they get it out there and ask, regardless of what the answer is, they grow and they move forward. Number one, they're either going to get what they want, or number two, they're going to get even more resourceful and find a better, faster, quicker way to do it.
Yeah. And one of the other pieces to that, to it, is if someone asks us a question and we want to say no, is learning to say cleanly no. Because it just ruins, for me, it ruins the relationship that we currently have and the energy in the moment, when you're like, oh God, how could you ask that? Maybe you're not verbalizing this, but you're going through the emotional, I think, how could you ask that of me, Adele? What are you thinking? And it just ruins that relationship in that moment. It just puts so much negative baggage to it. But I just say, no, right now, it's just no.
Yeah, no is a complete sentence.
Oh, I like that.
I saw that on a meme. I cannot hold my hand up and say that's one of mine. No is a complete sentence. That's awesome. No.
Yeah, it's true. And there's power in no. There's power in getting done what you need to get done by saying no. Right? Neil asked me for some stuff this week. It's like, I'd love to. I can't take it on. Like it was a hard no for me, simply because I know what I've got on the go. I know the amount of work that I've got going on in behind the scenes right now. And to take anything else on right now, something is going to crash and burn. And being that my word is my bond, I'm not willing to allow any of those other areas to fall off, to crash or anything like that. So for me, it was a no-brainer. It was a simple no. Nope, can't do it. Don't have the time.
And the clarity was no. It was just no. It was not no, never, no. And so it was clean that we can come back to it but I would start the question, is your time freeing up? Can we look at this? And if it's still a no, it's fine. It was like, because it's both a project we both like, but we just need to make time for it. And no is no, and that's cool.
Definitely.
So since we've last talked, Sarah, what is exciting across the pond?
What is exciting across the pond?
I'm waiting for this one. I'm waiting for this one.
Nothing is a complete sentence too. We are currently in lockdown. As its lockdown is known, we are only allowed out for food, essential shopping, medical attention, go to work if you can't work from home, and exercise once a day. And that ends on the 2nd of December, where we go into a tier system. And before we went into this lockdown, we had 3 tiers, and most of the country was in tier 1, which is the lowest tier. And as we come out of this lockdown, most of the country is going into tier 3, which is the highest tier, which is conditions very similar to lockdown, which will be reviewed in 2 weeks. And I wouldn't be surprised if most of us are in tier 3 by the end of those 2 weeks. We are in a, I believe at this point we are being controlled around this, because every time statistics or facts come out which the government are using to provide the tiers or the lockdown justification, within a couple of hours, opposite statistics will appear. So today, there were a lot of reports showing that actually most of the areas are reducing their numbers, which should suggest lockdown works, but we're being told that they're going up. And you know, the funniest thing today was a lot of how we are dealing with this is based on these PCR tests. Our test and track, where we tested everybody in Liverpool, and Liverpool's results have come down, don't get me wrong, is actually based on a test where the inventor of the test said this should not be used for infectious viruses.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So who knows where we are?
So not to diminish that, how are you staying positive in this?
I am very much living to my values and my integrity and making decisions that feel right to me. I have struggled this week with the whole question of Christmas. I believe, you know, my family's been pretty strict throughout this. Christmas seems to be throwing up a lot of decision points that we apparently for Christmas would decide completely differently than we had for the rest of the year. I'm pretty much at the point of going, you know what, let's just sack off Christmas and meet at Easter and, you know, we'll all be fine. But it is around keeping a smile on my face. I've charged the camera. I've been out for walks, even though it's -1 Celsius for those over there who don't use Celsius. It's cold.
We're all Celsius right? Here. We're good.
It is freezing fog. I have, you know, gone out. I have given myself afternoons off. I have watched Hallmark Christmas movies. I've watched one movie several times because there's just a scene in it that every time I watch it, I get a message, and it's like, you know what? There's a reason why I've seen this now. I'm not pushing myself to get anything out for Black Friday because it doesn't feel right. It is not it is not part of our commercial strategy here in the UK, or never was. And so actually I would prefer to be, it feels better to me to concentrate on the run up to Christmas, which is a holiday we celebrate, than it is to push something and just be sat in people's email boxes when I haven't spoken to them for months, to suddenly pop up because it's Black Friday. No, that doesn't feel right to me. Doesn't feel right when people do it to me. And so therefore, for me, it was a no.
What wonderful part about COVID and Black Friday is everybody, like the radio stations are all over it. The TV stations are all over it. Forget the Amazons, forget the Walmarts. Get to your local independent stores. Support them. They're the ones struggling and going to go bankrupt. Get to those. Yes, it might cost you a few extra pennies more, but shop locally. Shop the independents. Go to the little espresso bar. And yes, it has consequences by not going to Starbucks and that, but Starbucks and the other ones can weather the storm a lot better and a lot easier than the mom and pops.
Right.
And with that note, remember to support your local coach. No, your local artist.
No, and assuming that you can actually get out. I know that, Calgary, Neil, you can probably speak to this. I'm not a big news watcher or anything. I can just catch little snippets here and there. But I heard that, of course, in the Calgary area, it's back to a state of emergency and whatnot, with many places shut down, shuttered, closed down. How is that affecting things for you? What are you seeing? What has changed? And what is the difference between what's really happening versus what's been portrayed on the news?
People are cautious and careful, but Calgary has not really been shuttered down as the news has. it's like you can still go to your restaurant and you can still meet. Like if I can technically meet my friends at a restaurant, and as long as we don't appear more than 6, we can do it. So I meet my friends out in the parking lot, and we could go into a restaurant with a group of 6, and we're fine. But if we all arrive independently, the restaurant goes, "Are you in the same family?" And so what if none of us look the same race? We're going, "Yeah, we're brothers."
Brother from another mother. Adele, how about yourself? Ontario, what are you seeing over there?
I'm seeing the same thing. I think it's fear mongering in our news. I feel like, and I kind of talked to my spouse about this, back in March when it came out, there was really the same numbers as what we're getting now, and they were testing less and less. And I just feel like, we're testing a lot more, so a lot more people are being positive. So really, what's the difference, but it's the same. We can go out socially, and we can meet with 6 people, and we go into restaurants, our masks come right off. So, you're all breathing in the same air. As for the Black Friday, it's never really been something that I focused on. It's just I do try to support local when I can, because like Neil said, the big box companies are going to get through this just fine.
Yeah, absolutely, no question.
And and it comes back to mindset. We all need to reach out if anyone is viewing this and you need help. You see 4 people on your screen. If they can't help you, they know people that have resources and that could be willing to help you. There's a 1-800 suicide prevention line. There's so many resources and people that are willing to help. I'm not saying we're not willing, but sometimes we're not the best people for that situation. But we'd be willing to help you find those resources as needed. Doing what you love is one of the things to keep your mindset. And if you don't know you don't know what you love, find out. Use this time, this lockdown, to find out. Go back, dream to what you envisioned as a child, and play with it.
That's actually one of the things that I do with my clients. We have a process called Priority Happy, and the first thing we do is get them to write a list of things that make them smile, give them joy, and that they are no longer doing or have put on hold. Amazing. And most people can do 2 or 3 and then kind of get stuck because they don't think it's right that they write on a list. And then you say, well, what did you like to do as a child? What would you run home from school, drop your bag where you shouldn't do, not do your homework for, but what was that one thing? And most people would still love to do that activity. Yeah. And actually then it's just saying, well, put some time on your calendar and do it.
Make time for it, yeah.
And enjoy it whilst you're doing it, and allow yourself to then be open to it giving you some other things that you used to do. So when I did this, as part of my healing journey, reading came up. And I used to read 3 or 4 books a week. I was that girl with the book reports who they said do 1, and I did the whole library. And so, as I started to burn out, stressed and everything, realized I have not read a book in 3 or 4 years. There was all the books I would read on vacation. Or my Kindle is packed with books. I really don't need another Kindle book for probably about 10 years, but I'll still keep buying them because I've got a Kindle, right? Yeah. But when you actually look at it, you say, you know what? I don't read anymore. And the act of reading 1 page a day and then 1 chapter a day, and now it's non-negotiable. It's 30 minutes of reading for me. And that can be self-development book, but it can also be whatever novel I picked up in the charity shop by, some of my favorite authors when I was a kid. It's just, yeah. Neil, your books have never ever been in a charity shop in a village outside Oxford in England. Otherwise, I would gladly have picked them up.
And if you don't mind me saying, I do think that Sarah's touching on something that's really important that goes along with mindset is self-care. If you don't have some kind of self-care routine, then, you know, it's hard to maintain that mindset or where your mindset is. So I think she's touched on that a lot, and it's really important to have those things and make the time for that self-care, even if it is just reading one page, one chapter.
Completely. Something for myself. I mean, in the last month, I'm a big Audible fan. I mean, I have a half-hour drive to get into the office here each way. And before, I was listening to the radio. I'm like, no, it's not really filling my head with a lot of what I want. So I've really tapped into Audible. And this last month and a half, I've recognized that I've gone through 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm on my 5th book right now in the last month and a half. So it's just, it's like filling me up. I'm getting this knowledge. It's setting me up to a whole new level. Growth, right? Filling that mindset, filling everything that I need.
But why are you taking the wrong turns when you're heading home? Is that to get the extra chapter in?
Well, I listened to it at 1.5 times the speed, so I'm getting it. I'm getting it fast.
We were listening to a book, a fiction book one time, and Tina and I were driving, and we were headed to a location, and all of a sudden we realized we're very close to the end, and we were close to our destination, and we pulled off to the side of the road, finished the book, and then continued on.
Yep.
Because it was like, I was not capable of just leaving it right here. We're so close to the end.
I get that.
So who's on your Audible? Who's on your reading list right now, Sarah?
At the moment, I am reading Jane Eyre again. That is my favorite book of all times. But I'm also, I've got about 4 or 5 on the go. I'm rereading The Alchemist. And it's just one of those things.
Who's in your Kindle? I mean, who's in your Audible right now, Jamie?
So we've got a little combination of, we've got David Goggins, we've got Oren Klaff, we've got Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. We've got a bunch of just great, yes, it's business stuff. Yes, it's leadership and all that. And it's what I love it. I absolutely, completely love it.
I couldn't quite see you reading sort of chick literature, Jamie.
No,
even on Audible.
No, it fills me. I throw it in. I picked up another one there, Influence. I can't get into it. Robert Cialdini. I can't get into this one. It's not jiving for me. Everyone raves about it. Yep. I don't know. I can't get into that one.
Yeah, it's on the furthest bookshelf away from me. I never got into it either.
Yeah,
but part of me won't send it to the charity shop yet.
I get it. Yeah.
Adele, what are you reading?
I actually picked up Jay Shetty's How to Be a Monk. I thought it was, I listened to him on Brandon Bouchard's Influencer Summit. And I just, it resonated with me, and I picked it up, and it's great. Super easy read.
Yes. Well, him and Jamie follow the same school. It needs to be simple, easy, and fun.
Yeah.
You know it. It.
And Jamie got me into David Goggins, and it's not work safe. You cannot listen to it in a public space.
Oh.
And and any of his YouTube videos, when you go and listen, it's like a spade is a spade, and it's not a shovel. It's just it's just like he drops a few bad words.
Yeah, stay hard.
I like it.
But that's an incredible, you want leadership and you want to overcome adversity. It's like, who in their right mind runs 240 miles? It's like, I know my running coach has done some crazy things, but 240 miles. And then there's videos of his feet, and you're going, that looks a lot like hamburger. And he's like, yeah, I've done it. And I'm like, okay. But that's because he's in his zone of genius. He is
Yep.
truly feeling alive. And part of what one of the lessons I learned is we get so comfortable in our comfortableness that we struggle and we fight tooth and nail to enter into the uncomfortableness. And David Goggins is all about do something uncomfortable every day.
Yeah, stretch yourself.
Yeah. And most people, especially as we age, get so comfortable and so used to, I'm going to come home, I'm going to have, it's, what was that movie? Shirley Valentine. Is anybody, it's an older movie and it's Monday and you only have pork chops on Monday or whatever it was. And it's just so structured and rigid, and it becomes, that people become incapacitated if you take them out of their comfort zone.
Yep.
And yet we all know that that's where true growth occurs, as soon as you step outside of that.
You know it.
Could you imagine Adele painting using the same knife, the same color, and the same canvas every day for the rest of your life?
No. No. No.
But that's
no, you
really,
got to stretch.
Yeah,
Stretch.
and that's really to the extreme. But so many people live their life like that.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Excellent. So what are you doing for excitement, Adele?
For excitement, I continue to challenge myself. So I took an art class, ironically enough, to paint portraits because I have never painted a portrait before. So really just challenging myself because it's mixing colors I've never mixed. It's, trying to capture realism to a human extent, which is terrifying. And just, there is symmetry in a human face that you have to nail or you paint an alien. So that's been challenging, but really exciting.
Sweet. I would just claim all my paintings are Picasso.
But my name's Adele, so I don't want to be dead by the time they're like, oh, she was the Picasso.
Yeah. Sweet. So we started this conversation kind of loosely talking about hiring people in their genius when we're doing things that are not within our own genius. What's something that you could do to hire? What's something that you don't like to do, but you definitely know you could hire for and should hire for? Mine is a VA.
Yeah, I have to say the same is going to be for myself. Doing a lot of the tasks, the administrative tasks, getting that stuff done, getting things up. I mean, I've recently enrolled a couple of very, very, very high level clients into my programs, and having to go through it all because I haven't taken the steps to employ that VA. I'm recognizing that this will be the last time I do it. Right? Not get high-end clients, but do it myself. The process must be documented. We're going to put the standard operating procedure for it together, and that VA is going to do this moving forward. It's just going to save so much time.
And another thing I discovered, I knew that I am not a quality painter. Like house painting, whenever that gets done, I can do it, but there's on me, wherever there's not supposed to be. That's one skill that I hire out. Thank goodness I have a cousin that is a great one, but the only problem is he lives in the UK and he says he can't come and paint for me.
Not on a regular basis, anyway. For me, it would be someone to do the ironing. Although I have found during COVID that gravity and a large ironing pile works rather well. As if you carefully lay out clothes and then put enough clothes on top of them, eventually they are flat at the bottom. So
I'm going to use that. That's gold. That's pro tip right there. I'm on that.
Absolutely. Anything for you?
Yeah, I recently, just because of the transition that everyone's making online, creating content, I do enjoy it to a point, because it does allow me even more ways to be creative. But it is very, very time consuming. And if I could have someone use everything that I need and you know, create that content for me, I would love to have someone, a content creator, do that for me, just to save me that time, because I'm losing hours that I could be painting. And for sure I could definitely. And the other thing, I'm with Sarah, like someone to do my dishes. I hate doing the dishes.
That doesn't work with gravity.
No. No.
Do
I
you have a
could
dog?
continue to buy, you know, new utensils and new plates, but you can only buy so many.
Well, I'd actually, oh, I just caught a message. I'd actually secretly asked Jamie's partner, Mick Scottney, to see if he could jump on, and he just saw the note because he's getting ready to be on a call with Jamie in 10 or so minutes. And I asked Mick if he'd want to jump in, because it was actually Mick it was Mick, Jamie, and I that initially started this uplifting conversation. And it would have been great to have Mick back on as a homecoming, but it is what it is. And so yeah. So I got 2 out of the 3 people that I had sent quick messages to, but it's early in Australia's morning right now, so Mick gets a free pass, because it was pretty crazy for him to try to get on.
Well, and we're going to be on live in 7 minutes. So
Whoa.
Yeah, but I gave him that he could just jump on and jump off. So, and we're watching the clock. So it's that time. So, as we always do, what's the best way to get a hold of you, Sarah?
Best way to get hold of me is via the website, yourreasontobreathe.com. Various ways on there that you can connect. So, yeah.
Thank you. Adele?
You can connect with me on my website as well. It's hadelcampbell.com. There's plenty of ways to reach me, social links as well.
Thank you. And well, since you're already on this page, you know how to get a hold of Jamie and I.
absolutely.
Yeah. And so I'm gonna let Jamie end us, as not always, but pretty much seems to be a tradition. So I'm just gonna leave with a few final words, and then I'm gonna ask Sarah, then Adele, and then Jamie to end. So my hope and dream for you is that you live a passionate, fulfilling life, and you dream big and you achieve all your dreams, and you're surrounded with loving, incredible family and friends, and you risk more and you take more opportunities. And with that, thank you. Neil Thrussell out.
So mine is very simple. It's, you know, no matter how your journey feels, looks, or is at the moment, trust it. Trust your journey, but just don't forget to breathe.
Sweet,
That's a really great one, Sarah. Thanks. I just want to end it and just say, if you are interested in anything that we've said and you want to up your mindset, just take the next step and ask any of us or anyone that you know who's willing to help you, and take the next step, because it will be it could be the step into your dreams.
Absolutely. I love that. Mine is also simple. We're in this theme of simple today. So mine is live long and prosper and carry on.
Sweet.
Good luck.